Well, the U.S. State Department is issuing a worldwide caution to Americans around the world and advising diplomatic staff and Americans in the Middle East to shelter in place for a second day after the joint attacks launched by the U.S. and Israel in Iran. Now, here in the United States, police departments in major cities are taking precautions, as you can imagine, sending additional officers to sensitive locations like diplomatic and religious sites. New York City, Washington, D.C., and San Diego are amongst the largest cities on high alert this weekend. The historic attacks on Iran saw the U.S. utilize American-made kamikaze drones copied from an Iranian drones that were used for the first time ever in Operation Epic Fury. Now, these drones, used in what CENTCOM has referred to as its Task Force Scorpion Strike. They are one-way, uncrewed aircrafts that crash into their target during combat. We're going to bring in retired Marine Intelligence Officer and the host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer, and also national security expert Ricoh Danielson. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ricoh, you're also an Army combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, so you've got some unique perspective here. Thank you for joining us. I'll start with you, Ricoh. So the U.S. using these new kamikaze drones, I mean, this really got me amped up looking at this here. They're inexpensive, they're highly effective, and the kicker here is that it's Iranian technology or a copy of it. Are we in sort of this new era of warfare?
Oh, absolutely. We've done a new era of warfare. Autonomous drones, autonomous vehicles will now be the forefront, I believe, of the military way and also engaging in combat. We see that with China. We see that Ukraine, Russia, Iran was it. And then also this is a very cheap way, a fast way, and a very effective way to engage your enemy at a very easily approachable, and it kind of changes the dynamic of the battlefield and strategy, as you will. It still offers the blitzkrieg methodology, right? Dominate the air, sea, and land. And I think this will be moving a lot faster. And as we see the war progress and also this progress into future state, this is going to be one hell of a time.
Hal, what do you think? I mean, are we going to see more investment into these style drones, and how far away can they be commanded from? I mean, do they need to be in the region, or could, somebody be even in the United States and controlling them from that far away? Is that technology in the works?
Oh, Anna, it's very much in the works. We have drones, I should say we collectively, the West, and obviously anything Ukraine is flying, we can probably get that technology adapted. But these drones can go out hundreds of miles, over 1,000 miles, depending on how they're set up. These are basically a copy, it's a more sophisticated copy of the Iranian Shahed 136 drone. You're going to see a lot of these. One of the things that's happened within the Department of War is that we've realized we're way behind the power curve on drones. Not just these types of drones, certainly kamikaze drones, but first-person view drones, which can also be kamikaze drones. And there's a rapid catch-up. Actually, they changed the status of these from being a regular weapons procurement to being an ammunition procurement, which shortens the cycle by which we can get these things in the inventory.
All right. Ricoh, I want to get your thoughts on this. We've got a map that we can show of other Arab nations in the region where Iran has been striking U.S. bases because they view that as American soil. And I think Iran was anticipating that these Arab nations would be blaming the United States and Israel for the violence that was happening in their countries. But we're starting to see a bit of a changing of shape here as far as who they're siding with. So what's the future of the landscape of those relationships in the Middle East?
Yeah, Iran's playing checkers here. We're playing chess. The hard thing about Iran actually indiscriminately just shooting these autonomous drones, blowing up hotels for no reason, killing innocent people, and it's turned the tide against them, especially in the air, even though they have in the neighboring areas, right? The idea here is the Arab nations are looking inward and saying, "What are you guys doing? This does not coincide with what we're supposed to be doing as a neighboring country." So now these neighboring Arab nations are looking at them saying, hey, now you're gonna have to pay up, whether it's either blood, bleeds, or bullets. And this is kind of the way it's going to go. And I would be surprised, more specifically Saudi Arabia and Jordan, taking retaliation.
Okay. And how, big cities here in the United States are on high alert. Our viewers are watching this. If they don't have family members who are, serving overseas, there's 40,000 troops over there. But this may be impacting them even more just in the big cities, the police presence that they're noticing around sensitive areas. And, we've got the FBI and DHS saying they're doing anything they can to thwart any potential threats. Nothing that we've heard about. But are Americans safe right now, Hal?
Well, Anna, we're all at greater risk. As you know, for a number of years, this is what I did was terrorism preparedness all around the country, working with law enforcement and other organizations. And this is a huge area. There are systems in place to put out alerts, to disseminate information quickly, to turn everybody out there into a collector, if you will, looking for suspicious activity and specific indicators of potential terrorism. So you can imagine everybody's on their toes. It's not just DHS, it's not just the FBI. It's everybody in law enforcement, state, federal, local. In fact, it's all first responders are being focused on this and looking at specific indicators, if you will, tactical tradecraft that would be indicative of a potential terrorist attack or plot.
And Rico, just I want to get your thoughts on potential sleeper cells, lone wolf attacks. You know, the folks who just might be crazy and get radicalized online, and then try to cause harm here in the United States. Could that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, I believe that may happen. We just saw it in Austin last night. I believe that unfortunately, the call to jihad now has been out there, and you saw it in UK. They're coming forth now, going forth with violence. Same with Austin. I wouldn't be surprised if, unfortunately, if we see this. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now, and I saw that the Phoenix PD and also law enforcement issued out a warrant, say, at a high risk, right? And the safety is coming upon us, so we have to be mindful of ourselves.
Okay, we are working to confirm those details, and we'll have more insight from the FBI, hopefully, on what you're talking about there after the break. But thank you so much for joining us here, our military power panel. We've got retired Marine Intelligence Officer Hal Kempfer and U.S. Army combat veteran Ricoh Danielson. Thank you so much. And we have more News Nation Live coming up right after this.